Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel, NiNjahCheeto here. Today some info was given via an announcement from David on Sega's official Discord concerning base PSO2. I'm going to discuss some of this info. There are some pretty nice benefits for NGS via obtaining star gems weekly coming from this future update too. I'm going to leave a link to Sega's official Discord in the video description below, so be sure to join it. So this here on the screen is the official Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis Discord owned by Sega. And this is in the From the Dev channel, David at Sega, which is the GM for Sega. And you can see here that he's posting an info update today. It was 3:41 in the morning my time. And he's posting that they're going to be working on adding calling urgent quests to PSO2 blocks in the global version of the game. Now, some of these quests have been in the game before. I believe all of them have been actually. But they're going to be added into the lineup of urgent quests that could be popping up again, which is pretty cool because for the longest time you haven't been able to actually run a lot of these urgent quests again. So it's going to be nice being able to hit these again. And some of them are actually pretty fun to do. And you can actually get a hold of some of these quests will give like various items from camos and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And they're saying here that this is a follow-up on an improvement that has been requested and making it easier to repeatedly generate skill add-ons. Now, skill add-ons in base PSO2 is a little bit different from NGS. Skill add-ons in base PSO2 is actually from timed abilities, from crafting timed abilities, where you could add like extra stats to your armor, and you could also add like extra rare drop rate and EXP and so forth. It kind of depended on what quest you was doing, but it took these little crystals that you would get for like different regions. And some of them only came from urgent quests, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've looked at all this info, but it's pretty cool to be able to get a hold of that again. Now, these generated skill add-ons really aren't going to affect most of the player base. Some of y'all might care about like the rare drop rate and stuff, but for the most part, one of the main uses for it would be for like adding extra stats for doing things like endless quest, trying to get like endless loner and stuff like that. Like a title it's like pretty hard to get hold of and requires to have all the extra strength that you can via like added on stats and stuff. Now, one of the really big things that's getting added here though, and this is going to affect everybody that plays NGS as well, is they're going to add Buster Metal drops to the PSO2 urgent Cradle of Darkness. So Cradle of Darkness, I'm sure a lot of you know, Cradle of Darkness drops tons of EX cubes inside of the quest. When you PSE burst, you'll just get like 1,000 cubes. And then you can convert the cubes into grinders, and then you can NPC the grinders, which gives you money. And it's like, if I remember correctly, every 1,000 cubes equals like 12 million Meseta, if I'm not mistaken, in base PSO2. So it's actually a way that you can farm Meseta to get a hold of various things in base PSO2 that you want to get a hold of. Now, the big thing about the Buster Medals is you can actually trade in Buster Medals weekly for Star Gems, up to 100 Star Gems a week, in fact. And that's actually pretty huge, because you can use the Star Gems in NGS. So it's very relevant. And not to mention you get to play some of this old base PSO2 content, which is really, really fun. We'll go ahead and show you all where that trade is that I was talking about for the Buster Medal shop. So this is pretty cool. I'm actually really happy that they're going to be reviving this stuff. I liked seeing this info today. This is really nice. Now keep in mind, they didn't actually give us a date on when this stuff is going to be happening, so we don't actually know when they're going to be reviving this. I know that David has made some posts in the past on reviving the concerts, which is really cool. I'd like to see them keep on reviving concerts too. And as well, I'd really like to see them revive like some of the seasonal quests too, because there was a lot of seasonal quests, a lot of seasonal urgent quests that we just don't have anymore, which I would like to go partake in again, like Easter events and Valentine's Day and Christmas and stuff like that. Really cool. Now, something of note, I want to show y'all here, as soon as you log into base PSO2, it's going to put you here in this ARC ship lobby. And if you was to turn around and go into the elevator right here, it's going to take you to the shopping plaza. And then from there you can jump down. And usually there's like some sort of seasonal event going on here too. You can see we have a seasonal lobby here right now. If you turn around, you're going to be facing the casino. If you run up the stairs here to the left of the casino, it's going to take you up here to where there's a bunch of different little trade shops. And right here is the metal trader. And if you talk to the metal trader, he has an option here for Buster Medals. And then you can see right here, you can trade in Buster Medals for Star Gems weekly. And you can trade in for the 5 times the 10 one here. And then you can trade in for 10 times the 5 one here. So it's a total of 50 of this one and 50 of this one. So you're going to be getting 100 Star Gems here weekly that you can get, and it resets every Wednesday. So it's quite a bit of extra Star Gems that you can get a hold of weekly if you just spam a little bit of Cradle of Darkness. Now, something else that's worth mentioning too, when you're in the ARC ship lobby, There's also a title reward area here that you can go visit, and there's going to be a lot of titles that you can access via doing different things with these urgent quests too. And this right here is the title keeper in base PSO2, and if you talk to her for the first time, you're probably going to have a lot of like title rewards to claim. And some of these things will just be various things that you can use from base PSO2. Sometimes you'll get camos from here. There's all sorts of different items that you can get in here, as well as star gems too, so keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to running Cradle of Darkness, you're going to actually need a Cradle of Darkness trigger in order to start the quest. And in order to get a hold of these, you can see I actually have a lot of these. You can get 10 a week via the Alliance counter in the Alliance quarters. So if you're inside of the Alliance quarters, you can see we have this moon base going on here in Night Arcs. It's pretty cool. But inside of the Alliance quarters, if you go to the Alliance Attendant, there's actually a dedicated shop inside of here, Alliance dedicated shop. And inside of here, you can purchase Cradle of Darkness triggers. And the price of these is going to vary by how many members in your Alliance is active for the week. As you can see up at the top, it shows members purchased for 96 for me. And that means that 96 of my Alliance has been logged in the past 7 days. So depending on how many people has logged in the last 7 days, your price of this is going to be cheaper. And of course, you're going to need Alliance points to get it. I just recently purchased more of these, so our Alliance points is pretty low, and we don't really do a lot of base PSO2 stuff any longer. But if you're getting on base PSO2 and running these urgent quests, you're going to actually get Alliance points if you run them with your Alliance mates and stuff too. So it's a pretty good way of farming some points, pretty good way of farming some star gems, get a hold of these extra little things here. Now, in order to actually start these Cradle of Darkness triggers, I'll go ahead and start off with the Arc Ship lobby again. If you run over to the mission counter, the quest counter clerk here. Now, as long as you have a trigger in your inventory, when you go to the quest counter, you're going to choose subquest, and then you'll go to trigger quest here. And the trigger quest option will show that you're able to start any triggers that you have a trigger for. Now, you want to run this on ultra hard, of course. Ultra hard is the version of it that drops all the really good stuff. It drops like tons of EX cubes. You can get some of those weapons there on the right, like the World of Guardians and so forth. And then you want to try to wait for 12 players to pop into here. Now, if you was to spam in the lobby, like you could tell other players in the lobby that you have a trigger Cradle of Darkness up, more than likely if you do this during peak hours when there's a lot of people on, you're probably going to have the rooms fill up and people are going to run this because you get a lot of rewards for doing it. Now, alternatively, if you're in the lobby and you're at the quest counter, you can go right here to where it says join party with quest in progress. And if you select all parties, as long as you're in a popular block, you can actually see that you'll be able to join in on different triggers here. Now, whenever you actually go to start one of these quests, I would first make sure that you go through and go to join parties in quest in progress first. Because if somebody else has a Cradle of Darkness trigger going, you want to just join in on that instead of starting your own. And whenever you go to this mission here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it should show trigger parties up at the very top of the listing usually. I'll show you a way to force this showing up at the top of the listing. And you can see up at the top left here, like in this listing, that there's like little icons that can fill into this like empty circle. See how this person has a yellow one here? I believe that this means that they have they're requesting other players to join their party. So it shows this little yellow icon. It also moves their quest up to the top of the listing. So if I was to go and start my own Cradle of Darkness trigger, if I was to select Ultra Hard here, you want to make sure that you only run it on Ultra Hard. It's not really worth to do Extreme Hard and below. So if you're not level 91 or up, and then you just need to level up some more. Do like the recommended quest here to level up first. But if you're able to start Ultra Hard, that's where all the good stuff comes from. You start the Ultra Hard one. Whenever you go to accept quest, there's an option up here that says active recruitment. You can see it has that little yellow icon with the person waving, just like it showed in that little circle that I showed you all that somebody else had going. So if you select this, it's going to move your quest up to the very, very top of the listing because it's showing that you want to participate with other arcs. So you want to make sure that you do this whenever you start the game up. Now, of course, if you have like other players that you want to have join up with you, you could always just uncheck this and you can put in a password, just whatever you want to put in. And then you want to make sure if you have a password restricted room, this first option right here, people can still join, like randoms could still join. So you would actually want to click this one here where it says also limit multiplayer requests from other parties. This means only people with the password would be able to enter into this room. So that's only if you have like special private parties going with your alliance or something. This is actually a really good activity for you to run with your alliance, in fact. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm going to leave a link in the video description below to Sega's official Discord here so y'all can join in on it. they actually post like quite a bit of info here, and sometimes like some of this info gets added into the headlines, various things. Sometimes it's just sort of hidden info too, like the concert revivals and stuff. And there's also like a channel in here where you can give like feedback to the GMs and stuff, and like the devs can take a look at the feedback of player suggestions and different things like that. So if there's things that you want to suggest for the game and different stuff, like leaving feedback, it's a good thing to join and leave some feedback in here. And as well, like you could just connect with your fellow ARCs in here. Some people like to just kind of chit chat, share screenshots, those various things. It's a good way for you to connect to other fans of the game. So I would strongly suggest y'all join it. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm very happy Sega is reviving old content and also making another method for attaining star gems. I really hope Sega revives old base seasonal quest. There is still an amazing Christmas urgent quest that Global never got with Santa Shiva, for example. But I want to know, what do you all think about this new info? Are you excited for base PSO2 to have content revived? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and have a wonderful day, friends. See you in the next one.